welcome back to my channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims 4 video today. And so today is definitely going to be an interesting day because today I wanted to change things up. And so my good old friend HazyNightCrafts on Twitch used her 25,000 shook simoleons to redeem where I renovate one of her builds on stream and record it for a video. And today is that day where I have completed that said build. And so I went onto her gallery page and stumbled across a base game only blue suburban house, but it actually was for a shell challenge from Cataly Creates on Twitch, and it's only 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 20 by 15, over 40,000 simoleons, and it looks pretty decent, I would say so myself. The landscaping, the interior looks great, but overall, if you guys want to check her out on the gallery, I will put her ID in the description down below if you guys want to check her out. She's a really good friend of mine, and she's very talented at building and making Sims. Let's be real here. But here is technically the whole overall of the house of what it looks like in the game. And the landscaping, as we all know, I love landscaping. I love plants. Plants are my life. And so when seeing all of this in the game like that, and Baby Yoda, it's a win-win for me. But the whole inside of it looks really good. It's very closed off and very cramped in, which makes it very tiny home-ish, and it is a tiny home residential, which is great. And personally, in my opinion, I personally wouldn't live in here if it was a real house because I don't like cramped spaces. But personally, Hazy did a really good job on making this house look, you know, cozy, homey, and just like well-rounded, just nice in general with the decor and the furnishing, especially in the backyard too. Yeah, what is this one right here? Splice plant and a good old-fashioned splice plant of a bunch of other plants and, you know, other things in there. Wow. Who knew you could actually splice that many plants into one plant? Nice. I like that. Either way, but we're going to go ahead and actually hop into the renovation and see how this house came to be in my style. So I realized when I actually had already done this build and uploaded to the gallery and I went about my day, I came back today to do the said voiceover for the speed build part that I forgot the two most important things, a mailbox and a pet bed. And so I took it down off of the gallery, but it's now re-uploaded with the correct stuff that you need for this house. And so if you guys want to download this house, my origin ID is SpringSims and the hashtag SpringSims as well, in case anybody is wondering about my other creations that I've done on this channel or anything of anything actually. It's all up there. SpringSims, hashtag SpringSims on the gallery. It's a good thing that you know it. So, for the general idea for this house, I kind of got inspired from the movie Up for Carl and Ellie's relationship, where they're both elders and they didn't have a job, so they're kind of retired. But I wanted to make sure that this house and these Sims had some sort of companion. And so I wanted to make sure that they had maybe a dog or a cat. And I went with a cat named Sparkles. And Sparkles seemed like a good name at the time because I was just watching Adventure Time, or the new Adventure Time A Distant Land BMO show on HBO Max. Great time. However, I realized that when I was kind of getting everything situated, I wanted to have a backstory. And the whole idea of Carl and Ellie from Up, that they're both elders, they didn't have any kids. I don't think they had a job. I don't think Carl or Ellie had a job at all. They were mostly freelancers, painting, doing their own thing. And I wanted to keep that, you know, idea for these two Sims. And so I kind of gave one of the Sims a guitar for some creative stuff, but I also added a computer in their bedroom to give them some sort of writing creative feel, or if they want to start a blog or write some books or whatever. But I also added some potter plants in the backyard to do some gardening. So your Sims have some extra things. They can garden, they can write books, they can paint, or they could do some guitar, write some songs, or play some chess in the backyard, whatever they want to do. But that's the idea that I had. And I wanted to make sure that this house didn't use a bunch of packs. So I only used the base game and cats and dogs. But so if you have cats and dogs, you aren't really missing out on a lot of objects, because the only objects I technically used was the pet bowl, the pet bed, and the scratching posts. And so you're not really missing out. So if you do want to download this house, it is up on the gallery and you'll be totally fine. And I will do like an overview of this house at the end of this video, so you can kind of see everything in real time and not all sped up, and where you can find it and stuff, just in case if you didn't hear me the first time. So yeah, but it's only 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom, and the kitchen and living room is actually very like cramped in, I realized, because it's on a 20 by 15 lot, and I didn't want to move it to a bigger lot because if I did that, it would have been a lot bigger, and I didn't want to do that for this house. So I kept it on the same lot, same vibe, same general-ish and stuff like that. And with the kitchen, I didn't want to overclutter it, and I was a little bit scatterbrained at the time, and I forgot how to work base game with the debug objects. And I'm like, where is everything? I can't find anything to furnish this kitchen the way I want it. So I kind of made it bare and minimal. So it's like only a TV, a microwave, and a coffee pot. And that's pretty much it, with the refrigerator and stove and some cabinets and counters in the kitchen. But that's pretty much it. And so, but for the living room, it's like it's all there. Like every bits and pieces is there. There's only 2 chairs with an ottoman, the fireplace, and the TV, and that's it. Like these two Sims, they don't have a lot. They never wanted a lot of like knickknacks, paddywhacks, and they didn't like love that material necessity, wanting all that stuff in their house, the clutter up their house to make it, not theirs. So eventually what I did is that I kind of rethought my ideas of what I wanted and made it pretty much like look like very minimal, but cozy, homey, oldie, retiree vibes, if that makes any sense. But that's kind of what I had for like my general furnishing style, and I kind of made it the same, and I'm trying to think outside of the box of what I want to do for my furnishing style, because I'm not the best at interior design for The Sims, but I think I'm really good at exterior. So I'm practicing every single day, or trying to get better at furnishing and make it look different and not very generic to like my other houses, especially my exterior, because I've realized that if you watch my Sims 2 video that I did for Dark Dreamer a couple days ago, it looks similar for like the exterior part and maybe the interior for like the layout part, because when you think about it, the front patio is basically like flipped. Like if you flip the back patio and the front patio to the other side of the house and make that bump out to the other side, it's pretty much identical. And I built those 2 houses pretty much like 2 days apart. And I built the Sims 2 house first, and then this house next. So I don't know. I just gotta like start thinking outside the box a little bit more and seeing what I could do. So if you guys have any ideas for any furnishing styles or building challenges that I should do, let me know in the comments below so I can like kind of get some new ideas for building, because I need it. Trust me, I need it. Anywho, like I was saying, the story for this house. 2 Sims and a cat named Sprinkles or Sparkles. I think it was Sparkles. Either way, Sparkles. We're going to go with Sparkles. 2 elderly Sims with a cat named Sparkles. 1 bedroom, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Kitchen and living room is open planned. And there's no dining room. And the foyer is pretty small too. Backyard's small too. And that's it. But for these 2 Sims, I'm just gonna name them Carl and Ellie. Why not? Why not just call it Carl and Ellie? Let their dream live on. Let their dream live on. I mean, I've already built the up house and everything is on the gallery, but I feel like that they lived in this house before they kind of like had their other house, you know what I mean? So let's just say Carl and Ellie, they were 2 peas in a pod. They have always like been inseparable since the very beginning of like their childhood. Because when Carl was always obsessed with planes, always obsessed with like, planes, engineering, and aviation. And so he kind of went into that track for his entire life until he got a little bit older, around like his 70s, when he retired. And with Ellie, she didn't technically have a job per se. She had more of a freelancer job where she kind of wrote books and kind of did some planting on the side. So she's more of the writer in the family, where she wanted to like tell stories of her past, her present, and kind of like news stories that she, comes up with every now and then for children out in the world, or, young adults, other elders, other friends in her friend group that they meet at the senior center personally, like almost every single day actually, which is a little bit too much because, let's be real here. Carl and Ellie, they love each other so much, but when I say they spend day, noon, and night at the senior center, I truly mean it, because here's the schedule. Here's the schedule. The lowdown. 8 a.m. They literally wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning every single day. They get up, they go take their shower, whatever, brush their teeth, get their dentures in, whatnot. They get dressed, they go to the kitchen. Carl makes his coffee, Ellie makes some breakfast, some very light breakfast, very not light-hearted-y, good for your colon body breakfast, basically. It's more vegan, more vegetarian, at least vegetarian breakfast for both of them. And because they're getting older and they need some, not too greasy food, okay? But they make their breakfast around I would say 7:30, 8 o'clock, around that time. And when they're done making their breakfast, feeding Sparkles and everything, they head out for the day. And they take Sparkles with them too, because why not? They can't leave the cat alone in the house with all their furniture that might be flammable. So they take Sparkles with them to the senior center. And when they get there, they meet, all the people, the regulars there. They literally go there every single day. And so Ellie's outside doing shuffleboard, and Carl's inside playing chess with good old Joe and Jeff. Joe and Jeff, they're crazy. Not senile crazy, dude. They're just crazy about chess. And so I added the chess table in their back patio because when I say Carl is competitive and he's like, I will not give up until I win a game, he truly means it. He has always been competitive. Ever since his aviation days of planes and all that stuff, he had that chess group going back then, the late 1920s. So back then he was the chess champ. But I feel like Joe and Jeff are something about them are just crazy and they just don't seem right to me. And so, like I said, they spend day, noon, and night at that senior center. More than the average senior. And I personally think with The Sims, I want to see where our elders have something to do outside of their home and outside of their retired jobs, because personally for me, I don't really play with elders that much, and I feel like elders need something to do. Carl and Ellie, they're imaginary, and I'm making an imaginary story for the sake of this video because I think it's interesting to bring the Sims alive and give them personality and a life outside of the house. So when thinking of Carl and Ellie living in a house and meeting their friends at the senior center, I feel like they have a sense of character and a sense of, adventure. Because, like I said, Carl loves planes. He had an adventure for so many years and still does. And Ellie has a lovely passion for writing and telling stories. And so with Joe and Jeff at the senior center, they're their best friends. Joe and Jeff and Carl and Ellie are the best friends forever and forever. And so when I say they're there day, noon, and night because of their friends, I mean it. The only time they come home is around, I'm going to say 9 o'clock, 9:15 at the latest is when they get home from the senior center, because the senior center is senior center / nursing home, so it's open 24/7, where anyone and everyone could walk in and do whatever. Mostly elderly Sims and their relatives. So it's a country club, but for senior citizens, which I personally think that's kind of cool. Just saying. However, when I feel with Carl and Ellie, they have a sense of passion for community and a passion for being with their friends, living in the moment, because they weren't able to have kids. And so same with the movie, if you watch the movie Up, Ellie and Carl, they couldn't have kids. And so I kind of wanted to have a way where I kind of reflected that in the build, where they didn't have time for kids, or they just couldn't have kids. They were unable to have kids. So they adopted a cat off the streets named Sparkles. And that's technically their child to take care of and, feed, not bathe, but feed, take care of, love it, care for it, do all the things basically, and just making it like their own child. And I think that's like a really nice idea that they have, like, you know, family, like from the senior center and like their friends and like, you know, Mr. Sparkles. Like it's nice to see something. No, it's nice to have something happy in their life, because all their life, even though they've been best friends since they were like the age of 9 and now they're like 88 years old, it's like they never had like a good life to, you know, to look forward to. Like Carl was from a single family household. Ellie was like from a foster home system, so like she never really had someone in her life that she could depend on, you know, have friends with. So she had, you know, nothing per se, but it was just herself. It was her and herself, and then Carl came along, and then they grew old together, and they were having, you know, they got married, and they had friends, and then life went on after that. And I feel like they could go far in life. They could have the best future, the best of friends, maybe even, like, you know, eventually, like, I don't know, adopt at their old elderly age, which wouldn't make any sense, but, you know, the possibilities are endless at this point when you think about it. So it could happen, it could not happen, only time will tell. So this is technically the build. I hope you guys actually really enjoyed the whole speed build part to see how it all came together in the end. And personally, I'm very proud of what I did with the landscaping the most, because landscaping is key for me. I love greenery, I love plants, I love all the things that deals with plants. But in real life, I can't keep a plant alive because they'll just die in the sun. However, fake plants are the way to go in 2020. But for this house, I wanted to make sure that it didn't look too cluttered. So I wanted to make sure it was very homey and not too over the toply crazy like most of my builds. So I wanted to make sure that the living room was pretty much simple, very plain Jane, 2 chairs and ottomans, some plants, a fireplace TV, and like some scratching posts and a pet bowl. And that's like pretty much it. And the kitchen is, like I said in the video, stove, coffee pot, refrigerator, microwave, TV. That was pretty much it. So like they could watch TV from like over here or in the living room, whichever they prefer, because like I said, Carl and Ellie, they get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, and that's just literally insane to me. Anyway, but they wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, Carl gets his coffee, he can sit down and watch some TV and the local news or whatever, and personally, in my opinion, that's just too much. But I wanted to add in the bedroom was the pet bed, like I said in the beginning of the video, that I forgot to add. And I also added a guitar, a computer desk, and some computers and some pet treats as well for Mr. Sparkles. And I think it looks really nice. I really just like the whole simplicity of the entire house. And the bathroom is just a bathroom. And the backyard is pretty small. I just added an easel, some chess table, and some planter pots out back for if you're someone to do some gardening, some painting, some chess tabling, all the things. But that is pretty much it in the entirety of the build. And like I said, if you guys want to download this house or the original version, I will leave the origin IDs down below in the description for you guys to check out. But if you guys want to download this specific house, my origin ID is SpringSims, also under the hashtag SpringSims as well. So you can search this build and all of my other builds that I've done on The Sims 4. And that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys all in the very next video. Bye!